Hey everyone, it's Mrs. McAllister here. So today we're going to be going over 2-point perspective. You're going to be doing a couple of different exercises. First one's going to be basic 2-point perspective shapes. We're also going to be doing 2-point perspective cutouts. And then the final one will be steps. And then you're going to use all these skills to then make a final project incorporating shapes that have cutouts, shapes that have steps attached to them, shapes that attach to each other, to build a structure in 2-point perspective. All right, but first worksheet is shapes. So doing 2-point perspective, you need to have 2 vanishing points. Those vanishing points, all horizontal lines in the drawing actually will go back to those vanishing points. So you're not going to have any perfectly straight across lines. They're either going to go to the right vanishing point or the left vanishing point. However, all vertical lines will go straight down. Okay. The place that the vanishing points land is on the horizon line. So if you imagine going to the beach, when you're looking out at the ocean, the line where the water and the sky meet is the horizon line. Now, for the point of this worksheet, you're going to have boxes, and the top of the box will be considered the vanishing point. All right, so we have 3 boxes. I want you to show your work. So you'll see for the first box, I simply did the line and then the vertical line, and then the horizontal lines, which are actually diagonal, going up to those 2 vanishing points. And it's sort of a way to familiarize yourself with how you're angling your lines and doing it in a step-by-step way that by the end you hopefully kind of have it down a bit more in understanding how to do it through doing it a few different times. All right, so you're going to show me the basic step first, then you're going to show me the one where you add the top of the box, and then we're going to go over shading with value. Okay, so the first one I already did, and I'm actually going to repeat this step for the second one. All right, so for the first step, you're doing a line straight down, and then you're connecting that line, top and bottom, the right side to the right vanishing point, left side to the left vanishing point. You don't want the line to go all the way to the top, and you don't want the line to be taking up the whole space. It should maybe take up about half of the length. Of course, it didn't start halfway down. It starts a little further up, but I would say this line is about equal to these 2 spaces. So let's say we do about a line that's about an inch, inch and a half. I'm actually going to line it up with the line above it. So I'm going to start this all over down here. So I'm going to do one, actually, all right, so this will be an inch and a quarter. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to connect these to the vanishing points. So the vanishing points, you can just put little dots for the purpose of this, but it's going to be the top corner of each of these rectangles. I'm going to take my ruler. 1, 2. Whoop. Okay. Same thing here. 1, 2. Now for this one, again, you're going to make a complete box, but you're going to do it while keeping all the lines attached to the vanishing point, so you can kind of look at how it's going to look when it's completed before you do the last one. So notice how I didn't actually erase anything here. All right, now you need to know where the sides of your box are going to be. Now, I'm not asking you to make a perfect square, so you can kind of decide on your own where you want to put the lines. And in fact, if they're not the same on both sides, that's totally fine. Okay, and I'll put one there. All right, so now these are the sides of the box. Now, instead of, for this top corner, bringing it to that vanishing point, which you can see, it's already connected to that vanishing point. Now it needs to be connected also to this vanishing point. Watch. And yes, you're going to want a ruler or a straight edge. A ruler is going to be preferable when we do the project, because if you don't have a ruler, you're not going to be able to measure out exact sizes. Okay, now from this point, you're going to then attach it to that vanishing point. All right, so now you can see a three-dimensional form that has been drawn, still connected to the vanishing point here and here. You have the top of the box, the left side, the right side. Okay, now we're going to do it here and kind of see it develop into, and again, I'm just going to line it up at those lines. Let's watch it develop now into an actual shape. So for this, I'm going to draw a little bit lighter because I'm going to want to erase some of these lines. And in fact, if I don't draw the whole line, let's say I just draw that much. But it is important for this technique, it must be connected to the vanishing point. You don't want to have a line going off in some random direction. For instance, this, you don't just draw a line. It has to connect to this vanishing point to be drawn in perspective as the eye would naturally see, for instance, houses vanishing if you're looking down the street. Okay? Otherwise, it's going to look off. It's not going to look realistic. It's not going to look like how an actual building or a three-dimensional shape would be as you're looking at something in the distance. Now you'll take notice if you look down the street, you'll see everything shrinks to one point in the street, but if you're looking at a corner of a building, half of it will shrink in one direction, half in the other, and that's 2-point perspective. All right, so now I'm going to take that, bring it over here, and this one, again, I'm connecting it to the vanishing point, but now it's going in the opposite direction to complete the top of the box. There, so now I have the box shape. So now for this one, you would go back and erase those extra lines that you do not need anymore. Okay, and then you would use value to shade. So you want 3 different values. For this one, I did it light on top, medium on the side, and super dark on the right-hand side. I pressed super dark when I did that one. So again, pressing super light and using the side of your pencil when you're doing the super light part. You might end up thinking, oh, I made it a little too dark and having to erase, but you can always first do the second part then. So you do that whole section. Then now let's see. Make sure that they are of different darknesses. And then for this section, super dark. And you can see it's shiny. Be careful not to smudge your hand on it because it will get all over the side of your hand. That being said, if you feel like you want to blend it a little so it looks a little smoother with your finger, you could do that as well. Just then, if it gets out of the lines, make sure you erase it and clean it up a bit. And then you'd be left with, again, doing each entire section, medium, light, and dark. And that is how we create a 3D form, referring back to the elements of art, using 2-point perspective. So you're going to complete this sheet. If you can't print the sheet out, you're going to divide your sketchbook paper into 3 sections, and I want to see each step. First, just connecting, then connecting, and as well as the top part connecting, so you have the shape, but it's still connected, and then doing a disconnected, which still went to the vanishing points, shape with shading. And that's it.